always want a constitution under their gun. Except they haven't fought for literally any part of the Constitution. Not even their right to own guns. Oh, they'll fight that one in court, won't they? They're still fighting it in court, which means they are fighting. Unfortunately, it's gun-toting rednecks. None of the rest of the Americans seem to quite get it. Why do the gun-toting rednecks have so many rights beyond their years? We should have gotten rid of these fuckers with the apartheid. But we didn't, did we? We should have gotten rid of these fuckers for the Revolutionary War too, but we didn't, did we? No, rednecks are fucking paranoid of everybody. They're paranoid of blacks. Blacks are always conspiring against them. Mexicans are always conspiring against them. Jewish people are always conspiring against them. Them Catholics is always conspiring against them. They need these guns because the world be trifling. Right? Where's your gun? Do you still think of guns as cool things on video games? Or have you seen a fucking carcass or two? One is enough. One fucking carcass is enough. Seeing pieces of people's fucking brains, chunks of their fucking skull, is nasty. So you notice I spend a lot of time recently going at women, right? No, I'm sharing equality. When you get on and you want to bully and berate, y'all don't pay any attention to the fact that if I say those things back, you don't make the connection, do you? It's not wrong to do bad shit to me. You don't give a shit what's done to me. You only care if I threaten to do that shit back, to the point that you will literally take a video where I am talking about how wrong those things are and pretend like I'm threatening you and your family. No, you ain't shit. You're gonna have to kill me to shut me up. Do you have it in you to kill somebody? A lot of my predators do. And I still stand up to them, don't I? If I gotta make a strategic withdrawal to keep myself and my evidence safe, goddammit, I'll do it. If I have to move elsewhere to keep my family safe, then goddammit, I'll do it. When I say fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it, I mean it, but it ain't just America. We got religious nut jobs the world over performing horrible acts against one another. Somehow justified by what? Demographics. Lincoln High School, Tacoma, Washington.
According to USnews.com, overview of Lincoln High School, the AP participation rate at Lincoln High School is 66%. The total minority enrollment is 84%, and 55% of students are economically disadvantaged. Lincoln High School is one of 16 high schools in the Tacoma School District.
"16% of the kids at that school. 16% are white. 55% are economically disadvantaged." Where did I go to high school? In Washington State. I went to two different Furwood high schools. Tacoma. I went to Lincoln High School. Furwood High School, Washington State. Furwood and Steilacoom, Washington high schools. Part of Clover Park School District. Furwood Secondary School, Lakewood. Let's see. It's got 3 dots by it, so it's not going to tell you. State and local support, then similar districts that serve primarily white students. Yeah, Furwood is obviously not a primarily white student area. Not sure if you knew that. Yep. I didn't grow up in pretty places. I didn't grow up in nice places. I didn't grow up with playgrounds in most places. And many of the places where I wasn't locked up, we wanted to play football, we had to play on the cement, on the blacktop, in the street. And we were kids, so we did. What high school did Greg Pappy Boyington go to in Washington State?
According to Marine Corps University, Gregory Boyington was born in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, on the 4th of December 1912. He graduated from Lincoln High School in Tacoma, Washington, and majored in aeronautical engineering at the University of Washington, graduating in 1934 with a Bachelor of Science degree.
Most famous pilot of VMF-214.
Pilots frequently mentioned on the web include the Pappy Boyington and John F. Bolt.
That's right. Famous people who went to school at Lincoln High School in Tacoma, Washington.
According to Lincoln High School, Tacoma Public Schools, initially called Lincoln Park High School, the name was changed to Lincoln High School shortly after opening the school. The magnificent Lincoln Bowl was opened in the late 1940s and has been attended by such famous figures as Elvis Presley and presidential candidate William Jennings Bryan.
Well, so let's get down to the brass tacks, right? Go to YouTube. We will see what video we're watching. Looks to me like my internet's not going to work. Oh, come on now, Granny, you can do it. Come on now. Y'all expect us to do so many things while you hobble us. Cut us at the knees. When we're cut off at the knees, it's difficult for us to do anything. So let's talk about American wives versus foreign wives, right? Alright, so we've been able to do a lot of studies, and we've gotten to learn a lot about women and about the dishonesty inherent that we come to all expect, but we're not allowed to say anything because of sexism. Men are not allowed to speak. We're not allowed to make observations. We're not allowed to tell the truth. Women train us to lie to them about things, and we're expected to lie to them. No, I don't care which dress you wear. If you're going to be obsessing over the way that you look, I'm going to get sick of your company real quick. I don't give a fuck how you look. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. If you bullshit me, go away. Now, why are American men shopping elsewhere? Well, why do I call it shopping, first of all? Because I've known way too many women who have said that they're shopping for a man. They refer to it as shopping for a man. Way too many. Now, when it comes to American citizenship, you have to do a test. If you're going to get married to an American citizen and you're a foreign national, they ask you a bunch of questions about your spouse. Turns out that foreign wives can remember stuff about their husbands far more than American wives. One of the studies I was reading about, it was every 3 months they did a questionnaire over the course of a year. So 4 questionnaires overall. At the end of 3 months, you take another questionnaire about your spouse, kind of like somebody who is a foreign national who wants to become an American citizen by marrying an American. They have to know everything about their spouse. Everything. How many American women know what their husband or boyfriend's favorite color is? How many of you know what your boyfriend or husband's favorite flower is? How much do you really know about your husband other than bitching about his bank account? Bitching that he's not spending enough money on you? Bitching that he's a horrible husband when he tells you, hey, we're financially strapped, so you need to stop shopping therapy. Also, I've had more than one woman tell me that women are constantly shopping for an upgrade. Every woman is settling for a man who is not good enough for her, apparently. So, why bother with women? You know that if there's a guy who earns $1,000 more than you per year, he's an upgrade. Especially if he's been able to save some up because he's been single a while you've been catering to somebody who wants, well, far too much. Far more than any reasonable human being should ever expect out of another human being. Now, what we found in these studies is horrible. A lot of these women, the men in their lives, the American women, the men in their lives know a lot about them. But also, American men do tend to be specific and consistent with their wants. Unless they're trying to swoon someone. But women are more likely to pretend to care about something they don't if they're interested in someone of the opposite gender. You're more likely to pretend to give a shit about this guy's 1968 whatever it is, with a turbocharged whatever and a semi-Hemi whatever. Reality, they're whatevers to you, but you're listening. You might even be eating up every single word. If you're attracted to somebody, you tend to do that. You tend to eat up every word. And if you really want to impress them, you try to remember their words, don't you? So when you care about somebody, they don't actually have to repeat something to you 30 times for you to get it. But also, when you expect a man to get up and do something right now just because you want him to, and you are literally going to say everything is fine, everything is fine, everything is fine, until he's engaged in an activity that it's difficult for him to pull himself away from. For your downtime, you want to leave the house, leave your husband, go hang out with the girls. This is what an American wife tends to do. And of course, when she gets home, he figures it might be her shift. Maybe she'll take over the parenting skills for a little bit and he can have some downtime. No, he's not allowed. How dare he play video games? You tell him it's okay for him to play video games. He has to ask permission like you're his goddamn mom. And then halfway through a level, he's only been playing for 10 minutes. You're going to start bitching at him about something you want done right this moment. Like, do you intentionally plan this shit out? There are a lot of women who have told me, actually, yes, they do. She's testing you to see if you love her every day by annoying the living fuck out of you intentionally. How about if we fucking test you? Oh wait, we do. We do. Eventually, when we have given up enough and are still listening to non-stop bickering, non-stop whining, non-stop nothing is fucking good enough, we test you by leaving. We're done. At that point, it's either she leaves us the fuck alone so she's an alright ex, or she fucking stalks us, in which case we have to move. Women do not stalk a man alone, ever. It will never be just her stalking you. It will be her and her sister, or her and her mother, and any of the friends that they want to get involved, and any of their boyfriends that they can talk into getting involved, which is pretty easy. Just nag until he fucking does something. Then again, I know a lot of men who left their wives because she was constantly engaging in bickering behavior and the destruction of other men's lives and expecting and volunteering him to do these things. No, first of all, your friend Diane is a twisted, manipulative, alcoholic bitch who beats on her fucking kids. No, I don't want to fucking help her move out of his house. No, I am not okay with you signing our name to help her out in this situation. We're not paying for her to drive all these places. We're not paying for the labor for people to move for her. We're not paying for her to drive a U-Haul when she's not even going to drive it. She's been complaining 3 days that she doesn't know how to drive it. So what's expected? A man with a truck is supposed to show up. He's supposed to talk his 4 sons into helping, or 2 of his friends from work. We are constantly pulling favors from other men. Men are constantly pulling favors from other men to try to fucking satisfy you, and you literally will not get off your ass for a goddamn one of us. Meanwhile, there's foreign wives. They actually find things out about their husbands. They actually learn something about their husbands. Now, with an American husband, it's real difficult when an American woman is going to change her mind frequently, consistently, on those questionnaires where you're supposed to know everything about your spouse. While American men are pretty consistent, less than 2% deviation. Foreign women, same thing, they're pretty consistent, within like 4% deviation. That means they really know each other well. And that they are consistently the same person. If her favorite color is blue, it's going to be blue in 3 months. It's going to be blue in 6 months. It's going to be blue in 9 months. Same thing with him. Now, of course, I'm just using color, and most of you, your favorite color remains your favorite color your whole lives, or your second favorite. Sometimes people do change their favorite colors, sometimes for religious reasons, oddly enough. Sometimes because they decorated everything pink and just eventually got sick and tired of everything being pink. But American women, 30% deviation. That means 30% of the things that they like changed after 3 months. 30% after 3 months. And that was consistent through all of it. American women tend to deviate 30%. Now, you got to figure that some of those American women probably got very high scores. Some of them probably got as close, if not better, than foreign women. Some of them. And some of those men as well. I am sure that with the number of people that took a part of this study, I am certain that there are American women who did get high ranks, high marks, high scores. But if there's a woman who got less than 2% deviation on that test, that means that there's somebody who got about a 60% deviation on that test. That's pretty significant. What is this? It shows that American women don't tend to actually give a shit or find out a goddamn thing about the men that they're with. It also shows that they are constantly changing their minds. Constantly. Might have something to do with American women taking more pharmaceuticals than men by a lot. Men in the construction industry tend to take a lot of painkillers, like Tylenol and Advil. A lot of women, they get depressed when they see that there's that pretty blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. That no matter what, men are constantly throwing themselves at this girl. But they're not throwing themselves at you, are they? And you're angry, and you're bitter, and you're hateful at men. When you're attracted to men, which one are you attracted to? You want the rich, tall, good-looking one too, don't you? Whether you swipe left or swipe right, the ones that you approve of, even if you're a fat, ugly woman, you're still going to approve only of the top 5%. See, when women date on the internet, they only look for the top 5%. Not the top 20, the top 5. Their expectations are the top 1%. in most cases, your chances of finding a man who fits your qualifications are next to none. You want a white knight on a white horse, blemish free. Like my dad said to me, Sean, you want to get yourself a hot wife so you got someone to show off. That's competition, isn't it? He also said you need to get yourself a fat girlfriend so you can still have fun. And I think that does have a lot to do with the fact that I am so attracted to fat women. Is that sexually? No, I'm attracted to the personality. I like sassy fat women. My God, I love sassy fat women. Is there much better than a sassy fat woman? Now we got ourselves a troll on here, typing the same thing over and over again. Damn. He's a hell of a gentleman, isn't he? And he's just going to keep typing Lenny over and over again, isn't he? This guy's made multiple accounts, same picture, keeps getting blocked. Hide user on this channel. Jesus goddamn Christ, that was easy. Wasn't it? Here's the thing. All you do is name call, and you don't like being name called back. Not sure if any of y'all noticed that it really does take you being a useless piece of shit and a complete and total fuck nugget for me to be a complete and total fuck nugget back at your bitch ass. On the bright side, at least here, I get to play God, don't I? Isn't that what you want to call it? How dare I judge you for what you've done? But you should have the right to pass judgment for things that never happened? Yeah. There's a reason that American men don't want American women. It's because American women are spoiled. We've spoiled them. We have given them the whole world, and nothing is good enough. When these women want to constantly upgrade from one boy to the next, to the next, to the next, these boys pay attention. That's why you end up in the dirt at 35 years of age when you hit the wall. They're willing to put up with your antics. See, that's what it is. Between the ages of 18 and 35, we put up with your antics. Once your stuff starts dropping, your things start sagging, and everything starts getting droopy and wrinkly, well then, we're allowed to treat you with some equality. Yeah, you're not young and pretty anymore. I don't owe it to you to do these things. If you pretend like I done something bad to you, people don't fucking care about you. They're not going to bow down to your every will and command like they did when you were 18. And those of you guys in the toolbox, or sorry, the friend zone, these women aren't your friends. See, this is probably the most disgusting myth about the friend zone. Some women say it doesn't exist. And some women say, oh, well, that's only for, well, what do we consider the friend zone? The guys who wish that you would touch their penis, but you won't. That's what you pretend that is. No, that's a box full of tools. That's a bunch of men who believe the bullshit about if they're a good man, good things will happen. No, you throw yourself at the worst piece of shit on the goddamn planet like a $2 hooker, just like every other $2 hooker in the country. You recycle the same 10 guys. You go after pedophiles. Not to kill them, not to hurt them, not to harm them, but to date them and have kids with them. Robert Franklin Warnick had 7 children with 5 different women. When? That's right. After he became a registered sex offender. Oh, this Matt King feller made another account. Of course, it's a hidden message. This message is held for review. And what do we do with these bitches? Hide user on this channel. Blam! Now the point here is, it's what? We've taught American women that it's okay for them to be selfish. That their selfishness is more important than anyone else's, isn't it? What you want is more important than your children's needs. What you want is more important than their father's needs. That's what you've taught. That if you're in a fit of anger, it's okay to slander a man's name in ways that will get him literally killed. See, men, for the most part, if they're going to kill you, they'll do it themselves. Women will sneak around and try to have someone else do it for them. A BJ here, a little booty there. Some insinuations and voila. Oh, I didn't know he was going to do that. Bullshit. You were betting on it. You were hoping. You were praying. And I don't mean praying to God, although you probably did that too. Pray to whatever will listen, right? But the praying I'm talking about is preying. Praying. Like a praying mantis. Sure, you'll be nice until you get what you want. And then you bite his head off. Thank goodness for foreign women. Dear American men, all of you passport bros, good on you. You realize when something is so broke it can't be fixed. You realize that women in this country aren't going to get the point until they have to live through it. Those of you who went to foreign countries, hell yes. Your money is worth more over there anyway. You're also more likely to be treated like a human being in another country, especially Singapore and the Philippines. Oh, he made another one. Damn. Well, what do we do here? You know exactly what we do. This guy calls himself Matt King. Obviously, this is the third. That's right. Third fake account that he's made. Hide user on this channel. God damn, that was easy. Easiest thing ever. Now, I told you that people make account after account after account to harass me. They've been doing this since before Natalie was killed. And yes, it is illegal. It is immoral. It is wrong. But you don't care. How many of you watching this shit happen ever lift a finger to put a stop to it? No, you sick fuckers watch for entertainment. You're waiting on me to do something entertainment and praying that I blow my fucking head off, which might happen. There's never, ever been a time when I was not locked up that I didn't have access to a firearm. There are plenty of people in this town who know I have a YouTube channel. And guess what? Even knowing I have a YouTube channel, they're still willing to give me guns. And if you listen to all of the conversations with people trying to give me guns, you'll notice I always tell them no. I don't want your guns. I'm not interested in hurting people. Hope you don't mind. Hope that's not too offensive. Someone calling themselves Mr. Froggy GT typed, you good? No, I'm not. I'm also not nice. I don't care what color you are. If you're a predator, you're a predator. I don't care what color you are. If you've been victimized, you have been victimized. Mr. Froggy GT typed, wow, why? Well, because I've been taking abuse my entire life just because I'm different. I take abuse for being the wrong damn color. Yeah, that confused the shit out of a lot of people. Oh my god, dude, you're white. Well, I also grew up in the system. And most of the places I was, there was no white kids. Now let me read this again. No, we won't read it. We'll let it talk to you, won't we? What high school did I go to in Washington State? Tacoma, Washington. All right, so A and E, murder in the 21st. Type that up. Type up the name Natalie Bollinger. Mr. Froggy GT typed, oh my god, you're white. I know. I'm well aware. I certainly am. You want me to play a few videos for you where racist fuckheads in this town calling me the N-word? Guess what? I'm also not gay. Lots of people like to yell derogatory words for gay people here too. It's not just that, it's also throwing like pumpkins at my vehicle, throwing tampons at my vehicle, throwing eggs at my vehicle. Hell, I got a roll of toilet paper that I got for free because nobody here ever taught their kids how to throw a roll of toilet paper. First thing you do before you throw it, unroll about 5 feet of it and wad up the very end of it just a little bit. Let that dangle when you throw it. And then you toss it underhand. You also, when you're going to egg and paper somebody's vehicle, you egg it first. This Froggy GT type, that's bad for you. Why would you smoke that cigarette? Of course it's bad for me. So's breathing. If it weren't for oxygen, none of your cells would age. Did you know that? None of them. Oxygen kills you, son. Someone calling themselves Hallie Wolf typed, I'll sub to you. Mr. Froggy GT. Oh, we'll show that. He typed, I thought you were black. And of course he typed it very specific. THOT. You're American women. There's lots of American women who are making things bad for all of us. It's not just them, it's also you not speaking up, not fighting for our rights, not sticking up for us, results in us not being able to help you and your constant female crisis. Mr. Froggy GT type, no, it doesn't kill you. That's right. Every single person who has ever died has all died of the same thing. Lack of oxygen to the brain. As long as your brain is receiving oxygen, right? When you're brain dead, your brain isn't sucking in oxygen. It doesn't care about oxygen. It's dead. It doesn't run your heart. It doesn't run your muscles at all. You can't feel anything because you're dead. When it comes to those of you who are moving to other countries, those of you who are able to, I support you. I really do. If I could leave this country and get away from American women, I would. If I could go to a country where I would be treated like a human being, I would. Now, you can only imagine, I'm sure, what would happen to me if I went to Singapore. They paint me as a horrible monster there, too. That's right. The story of Natalie Bollinger has been told in so many different languages. Meanwhile, they're all lies. But you don't mind spreading lies and sharing lies that get people hurt, as long as it's entertaining to you. Oh, Mr. Froggy GT decided to be a racist fuckhead. What do we do with racist fuckheads on my channel? Here we go. Hide user on this channel. You see how easy that is? It's the easiest thing in the world. Message held for review. There's a reason it's held for review. Here in the United States, you already know that a woman does not have your back. She is not on your side. She'll stab you in the back for a better looking dude tomorrow. Easy as shit. Even if she is gung-ho down low for you today. Chances are pretty good she is always looking for an upgrade. Chances are pretty good that she's going to start a bunch of fights and make it your fault when she's decided upon who her upgrade's going to be. Because contrary to popular belief, men are not the ones talking the most shit on women. Women are. And most of the men in trouble for talking shit on women are literally repeating things that women have said about women. As far as Americans go, yeah, Americans are disgusting because of that. Not every American is a disgusting pig. Then again, there is no actual reward except pain and intolerance when you choose to be a good man. Sometimes being a good man means saying, hey, y'all women have had a free ride long enough. Join the construction industry or go home. It is not acceptable any longer for women to dominate the social services. Because women have shown as a whole that they cannot be trusted with such positions, and that they will spend most of their time manipulating men in such positions of power, including manipulating men with other positions of power. If a woman harms a man, all she's got to do is call the sheriff, call the police, and pretend that he might hurt her, and his life is over. When you're married to a woman, you either have to do what she says, or you have to worry about her pretending like you beat her or raped her. And as soon as she starts spreading that slander, what do your friends start doing? Oh, dude, I don't want to get involved. Motherfucker, you already involved. Someone calling himself the Gamer Gang typed hi. Let me guess, next you're going to tell me you're 14. Oh no, you're not going to type that you're 14 now that I said you're probably going to type you're 14. Now you're probably going to type that you're 12. Like the last guy I said that to. Although now that I've said 12, you're probably going to play it off like you're only 9 or 8.5. Let me guess, am I right? If you're going to pull that shit, go away. If you're not going to be one of those things, fine, stick around. The gamer gang typed, no, I'm 13. Well, I wasn't going through and deleting all these youngins, but seems to me there's a lot of these people. What are the chances that the gamer gang typed up their profile just today? That it's a brand new profile. I'm fairly certain all three of the profiles made by Matt King were probably made today. The gamer gang typed, but I don't mean trouble. I'm not comfortable with the situation with youngins. I don't hate them. Matter of fact, most of the time I spend my time protecting them and trying to expose their predators. Right now, I'm having to deal with a lot of youngins between 14 and, well, I guess Wolnez is probably in his 30s. I deal with this everywhere I go because of the death of Natalie Marie Bollinger. Tell you what, we'll look something up here. Misty Potter, Sean David. I believe this one is it. Racist slurs. I get it focused on me. Well, looks like there are a bunch of youngins here tonight. They're not yelling. They're not screaming or shouting. Well, there they start with the N-word already. But I'm light, so it's okay. Of course they're not yelling at me. Of course they're... Alfie Templar type, yeah, stand in line 6 feet apart, stand in doorways, don't breathe. That's right, and no cigarettes unless the lights are off and under the blankets. Them youngins are bullhorn. Now isn't that cute? First thing they do. Well, there's a lot of that. On my channel, it's not just that racist redneck BS. It's not just the N-word. Any excuse that people think makes it okay in that area. Here, we got a lot of KKK following. We got a lot of people who hate just to hate, and a lot of them use their religion as an excuse. Jesus apparently told these people, I don't know where, I've read the Bible, I'm not finding the part in the Bible where it says they're supposed to hate gay people. I'm not finding the part in the Bible where it says it's okay to harm innocent people as long as you pretend they're gay. I haven't found that. I'm pretty sure that it's not in the Bible. I've read the Bible at least 37 times. Never found that part. That's because it's not in there. There's gross reinterpretations by nut jobs who want to manipulate you. Get used to it. That's all of humanity. Trying to manipulate people to your political ideology. Trying to manipulate people into your way of thinking. And if they don't think the way that you do, you'll kill them for it, won't you? Or you'll try to incite others to do it for you. There's a lot of guys that I know who have foreign wives. Quite a few. I know a lot more guys with American wives. And guess what? Most of those guys who are married to American women are not fucking happy. They become humdrum, and the only joy in their lives is daydreaming that maybe they might have something for themselves. Maybe they'll get lucky. Maybe she'll realize that he's a human being, but you know what? It gets to the point where she wants to play on bias, what a man's duties are. A man is supposed to this. A man is supposed to that. Really? You want me to do those things? You get in the kitchen and cook me some dinner. You want me to go to work and provide for you and your family? Because them ain't my kids. I don't have any kids. Then be fucking grateful. You might have set the food on the fucking table, but who is it that paid for it? You say you don't get anything out of it. Really, you get to spend time with your kids. You get a roof over your head. You get food in your belly. And most of the men that I know, they're not complaining that you don't cook every single night for them when they get home from work. They complain that you literally never cook. That you don't know how. You're not willing to learn how. You just say you don't know how, and that is supposed to be good enough. When a man doesn't know how, what does he do? He goes out and fucking tries. When a man's being abused, you try to help a man who is being abused the way that you expect a man to drop everything and help you right fucking now. Do you? Does your husband volunteer you for manual labor after work the way that you do for him? Does he? Probably fucking not. The closest you are likely to get to any such thing is him saying, well, my wife is better at that stuff than I am. Yeah. My wife is better at that stuff than I am. I've noticed that many foreign wives come here and they're a lot happier than American women in any situation. If an American woman is with a guy who earns $100,000 a year, she wants a man who earns $150,000. If she's got a man with $150,000 a year, she wants a man with $200,000 a year. Meanwhile, you're looking at less than 2% of the population for most of that. Less than 5% of the population for a very large portion of that. Way less than 10% of men in the United States make $100,000 a year. Okay? Less than 10%. When you pretend that a man who doesn't make at least $100,000 a year, he ain't good enough for you. Here's what I gotta ask you. Are you making $100,000 a year, or are you fucking mooching? You want to find a man who earns enough in a year that you can live comfortably. One guy I know, after 6 years of marriage, hoping to have kids, he found out that she was what? On contraceptives the whole time. Why'd he marry her? Because he wanted to have kids. And she pretended she wanted to have kids. He never made her get a job. Oh, and he's a horrible person because he wanted a baby factory. No, he didn't want a baby factory. He wanted a wife and kids. This imaginary fairy tale. Yeah, guys fall for that shit too. And they're the easiest ones to prey on. The hopeless romantics. The ones that women pretend in their fantasies that they care about these guys. They want this kind of guy. No, only if he's rich and 6 foot tall. You take a look at all of the qualities that a woman says that she likes in a man, and it's all different, isn't it? But then you look at the men they go for. Primarily men without any of those attributes. Primarily men with only physical or financial attributes. You don't have to be a gentleman if you're good looking enough. You don't have to be a gentleman if you're rich enough. Just grab him by the trump. An American man has to walk on eggshells around American women. Because they will literally twist anything that you say something horrible if they don't like you. They will outright lie about you to your own friends and family if you don't give them what they want right when they want it. But when it comes to something that you actually need, they're going to tell you to be patient. If you're actually abused, they know. Every woman in this country knows how critical it is to turn it in right away so the predator doesn't get away. And then when the predator is a woman, you'll pretend to care, procrastinate, and waste that man's time. All women in this country, all of them, have over a 95% chance of siding with a complete stranger who's a woman than siding with a man who has already been proven innocent. How strange is that? Like, if you just keep pretending, why have we taught women in America that if you just pretend the fantasy enough, we're all supposed to pretend it's true? No wonder American men are dating foreign women. Foreign women tend to be more realistic. And then you say, oh, well, that's just because American men want a submissive woman. No, it's not that we want a submissive woman. It's that we want somebody who's not going to treat us like a fucking piggy bank. Someone who's not going to fucking treat us like shit. Someone who's going to be glad for our company. Not the business that we own, but someone who is actually glad to spend time with us. Someone who isn't constantly looking for something, some excuse to tear us down and treat us like we're monsters for fucking existing. God bless America, right? Thank goodness for the women who don't take part in this. But the women who don't take part in it, are they going to do anything to stop it? Are they going to step in when you're abused, the same as they expect you to step in when they're abused? Are they going to offer to turn it in right away, or are they going to promise that they'll do something next week, but leave it open-ended, and 7 months later you literally have to break the law because so many people have been injured and killed? The police aren't going to listen to a disabled homeless man unless they have a friend or family member who gives a shit. And every goddamn one of you who pretended to be my friend, pretended to care, showed you don't give a shit. You're just going to procrastinate and fuck around and waste my time. Why don't I trust women? Same reason I don't trust men. Men are assumed to be guilty until proven innocent, and they're not allowed to prove their innocence. Women will gang up together and try to destroy evidence. They'll run around to all of his friends and family and slander his name. And and run around to all their friends and family and slander his name. And you won't even give him the benefit of a bullet to the brain after you've done this. After you slander a man's name like this, the rest of his life is fucking torture. But sometimes people care enough to give you a sandwich or a couple of bucks for coffee. They don't care about the rest of it. When a man is actually being abused, there's nothing that we can expect out of a woman, especially not equality. When a woman comes to us and says she's being abused, we help her how she asks. You won't help a man how he asks. You'll argue with him and pretend that he's fucking retarded because he's a man. You'll pretend that he can't possibly go through abuse because he's a man. And if he's ugly, you'll use that as an excuse to be fucking mean. How dare he? How dare an ugly man need help stopping abuse? Meanwhile, American girls have been taught to be the mean girls. You got to hear in that video. Who is it that started screaming the N-word? 3 girls. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it. Everyone in it. And you passport bros, thank you very much. I know you guys are the top 5% of men in this country. Nobody else can afford to leave right now. I realize that you're the guys that women been throwing themselves at for years. Now, when I made the suggestion, now obviously, not a serious suggestion, but the suggestion that we kick out any woman who is rated above a 7, 8, an 8, a 9, or a 10. We deport all of them to another country. Because catering to them is destroying this country. And the fact that they're the women most likely to be heard because they're pretty means that maybe if we get rid of the pretty ones, maybe we'll have decent women who will treat us well. No, because then you got a 5, 6, and a 7 that are now an 8, 9, and a 10. And we'll cater to those ones, won't we? Now, with the passport bros, we're seeing what happens in the reality of a situation like that. When the men who are a 7, 8, and 9, 8, 9, and 10, statistically, it's only the 10s. Passport bros are statistically only 10s and some of the 9s. You don't care about the other 80%. You're only angry at the top 20% who have enough money to get the fuck away from you and your incessant goddamn crazy bullshit. Kind of like that lady who wanted about the draft. What did she want to do? We're literally all mentally ill. Disqualified. None of the responsibilities. None. Meanwhile, in Israel, women are part of the military. When you turn 18, you're a part of the military. Man or woman makes no difference. In many countries, Russia has had women soldiers since before World War II. There were female soldiers in World War I in Russia. Yeah. And we can see that there were female warriors going back for thousands of years. Female-only groups of warriors had such high status in the Egyptian Empire that they were allowed to have their own cities. Legends of the Amazons. You know what? There are Amazons all over the world. So what happens when the 8s, 9s, and 10s leave? Are we gonna bitch because there's passport ladies? Or, sorry, passport chicks? That would be considered derogatory, although I don't see how that's any more derogatory than calling them bros. I just don't understand why you can't date an American woman. It's not that they can't. It's that they're not fucking interested in a woman who thinks she's a fucking princess. It's that he doesn't want to be with a woman who has been taught that any time she doesn't get what she wants, to try to destroy a man's life. If there's troubles, especially financial troubles, and you got a foreign wife, what are the chances that she's going to go on a shopping spree? And what are the chances that she's going to work with you? I know a lot of Vietnam veterans, and many of them, when they came home, were married to Vietnamese women. Yeah. And a lot of them, after coming back from Vietnam, met enough women over there that were not American. This is back in the 60s and 70s. There were enough of those men who knew American women and met Vietnamese women and went, you know what? Maybe, even though I've been taught that as a white guy that everybody else of a different color is below me, maybe I'll be happy with someone who's of a different descent than me. Because, well, no matter how much you hate black people, if you hate black people blindly, and then you meet a black woman who treats you better than any white woman you ever knew, you might change your mind about things. American men are fucking badasses. American men take so much fucking grief over things that they didn't do. So much fucking grief just for being a man. What percentage of women that you know gossip? That's spreading of rumors. That's passing judgment. Not sure if you noticed, but I do the same thing. I do it right back. You don't fucking like it, do you? And that's the problem with women here in America versus foreign women. A lot of foreign women are taught to respect a man. It's not okay to go running around hitting people. Someone calling themselves Momo Gaming type. It's LeBron toes on... I don't know what the fuck. And someone calling themselves Rick Anderson type. Here come the 11-year-olds. Yes, sir, Rick. There's a guy calls himself Inquisitor. Now, Rick, I'm glad that you noticed that there's a lot of people on here that are trolls who want to either pretend that they're 11 or 14 or 13 or whatever. There's a lot of them that get on here, aren't there? What are they trolling for? Most of these accounts aren't real. Now, maybe this person claiming they're 13 actually made the account a while ago. Maybe they're actually 13 and maybe they run into my channel by accident. Chances are pretty good, though. It's one of these people who makes hundreds of fake accounts to harass me. Now, I'm glad that with this person typing that if I'm uncomfortable, they'll leave. Rick Anderson type, they're probably trying to get you into trouble. Yeah, I would imagine so. Do you try to point this out? Do you try to get a hold of the media and let them know this is happening? See, my predators do this until I have a mental breakdown from it. Not just that. I'm not sure if you watched any of the videos where I've shown that fucking punk beating on my vehicle. is bullshit. Inquisitor suicide. This is a woman and she's pretty. She painted on a pretty face.
Taken his own life on TikTok Live after a bunch of creators took it upon themselves to make false allegations against him about children. I don't really have the words for this story, so I'm going to let my fellow Powerpuff Girl take it away. But we need to spread this.
Her fellow Powerpuff Girl. That's right. Us girls got to stick together. When men speak up, we're ignored. Chloe Roma won't fucking listen to me. Neither will the Dadvocate. Both these women pretend to be men's rights advocates, but they don't advocate for men's rights. Sometimes they pretend to, but most of the time you listen to their shorts or you listen to their videos, you realize that they're not interested in our rights. They mansplain, apparently, womansplaining to women about men, right? But they don't. The Advocate makes excuse after excuse after excuse for women. And then explains things about men that, no, that's not the way it fucking is.
Name of Inquisitor 3 tragically took his own life recently on TikTok Live following a slew of false accusations against him. His home was successfully entered and CPR was performed, but tragically his father has confirmed his passing. He was only 23 years old. His accusers are a 20-year-old man who we only know as...
That's right. His age matters, doesn't it? That's why they bring it up. That's why she brings it up. He's only 23 years old. So if you're 23 years old and you survive that, the older that you get, the longer you survive it, the less people care. Who gives a shit about a 43-year-old going through this hell? Nobody, especially if he's homeless. What did Inquisitor 3 have? He had a channel for entertainment. Mine isn't for entertainment. It's to try to get help. Because I am abused far worse than this Inquisitor 3. All he had to deal with is false allegations on the internet. I have to deal with many false allegations on the internet, plus actual abuse in real life. Neglect. That's the killer of men. Just so you know, it's also the killer of women. Suicide among men. It used to be a 5-to-1 ratio. That's right. Men killing themselves at 5 times the rate of women. Starting at the age of 15. Girls start cutting themselves at 5 times the rate of boys. Starting at the age of 15. Why is that? Because the girl is more likely to be able to manipulate someone into listening by cutting on herself. Maybe if you don't listen to her and she cuts on herself, maybe you'll listen, and you might. Chances are pretty good, though, that she's instead going to be locked up for suicidal ideations, called mentally ill. And for the rest of her life, anyone who wants to beat on her, rape her, or anything of that nature can do it. Get away with it just by calling her mentally ill. Men in America have no rights. If you can leave this country, I'm totally down with that. Women are running out of men who are interested in them. Many women are having to pick up a simp because there are no 6-foot rich men who want you. Men want to introduce you to their friends because you're a gold digger. A rich 6-foot man who dates you Doesn't want anybody to know he's dating you, even if you're hot. Why doesn't he want anybody to know that he's dating you? Because he doesn't want you being able to take everything that he's got just because you're hanging out. One guy found out that he was married like 6 years after he got married, when he tried to get married, because the woman had tried claiming that she was married to this man because they'd rented an apartment together 6 years earlier. They never had sex. He thought he was just renting a room, where she was getting a cut in taxes. Now, the funny thing about that story is that the guy kept on having some discrepancies in his taxes, and they wouldn't let him know where his tax money was going or why there was an issue. Well, why was there an issue? Because that woman who claimed that she was married to him, common law, was trying to file joint taxes, sort of, where she's the primary caregiver. Just because they lived together. American men who can leave America are. Wouldn't it be nice if you could marry a woman, or at least even date a woman, or be with a woman who has some interest other than pretending that everything about you is just about sex? Wouldn't it be nice if you dated a woman who cared what your favorite color is? Someone calling themselves Max Needs Zielski typed hi. This is usually how they start when it's one of those ones claiming to be 14, 11, 13, or 8.5, isn't it, Mr. Anderson? You also get to see that I'm quite resilient because goddamn, Inquisitor 3 couldn't take shit, could he? And it was just on the internet, and people didn't even know what he looked like. He just wanted to play songs and dress up. How many of you girls dress up every day? Every day you try to play princess. If a man has an imagination, you pretend he's a chimo. If he's an artist, you pretend he's a chimo. If he's ugly, you pretend he's a chimo. If he's short, you pretend he's a chimo. If he's broke, you pretend he's a chimo. The way that my name has been slandered worldwide, the only chance I have at ending the abuse is through death. I tried to commit suicide online as well. How many of you knew that? It's raining. I should be out trying to panhandle up some gas money so I can go up the mountains and clean up a camp. My physical disabilities prevent me from doing so. My financial disabilities prevent me from doing so. Meanwhile, I get a disability check, but it doesn't matter because nobody's going to do their job for a disabled and at-risk adult if it's a male. Because none of you fucking care. You want a man who's already got everything, already set up. Not only does he have a car, a house, a family to already share with you, he's already got a car with your name on it, ready to go into that garage of your choice. That's what you want, isn't it? A man so incredibly rich he can shower you like a Disney princess. While you pretend that women weren't allowed to work. No, women had to work. Until the 1900s, women had to work the fields alongside their husbands. And so did the children. Had to, or they didn't get to eat. Dear Passport Bros, good on you. See, here's what happens with women when we've got these 5% of men that all of them throw themselves at. Why is it that we've got so many single mothers, but not nearly as many single fathers raising kids? Well, first of all, because women automatically get the benefit of the doubt, which is why they win nearly every custody battle. False accusations do wonders when you got tits. But a man telling the truth doesn't make a goddamn difference in the court of law, because everyone holds bias against us. It's not men's fault that all women in America are taught to be unrealistic. And every man who knows a woman who is realistic is a lucky man.
Tito, this adult woman who we only know as Keegan's Mask, and Tito's 17-year-old minor girlfriend who we only know as AJ. The plot to forge false allegations against Inquisitor 3 began in mid to late September when Tito and his minor girlfriend AJ began exchanging texts like these. AJ asks, "What the f*** are we gonna do?" Tito responds, "It's not a life or death crisis, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep flirting with him and see where it goes. If he starts to get, then I will expose him. We just need better and more proof." However, their attempts didn't work, and as you can see here, when AJ attempts to say things like, "I love you, date me," Inquisitor 3 plainly rejects her, saying, "You should ask in general if you can DM me." She says, "Oh, sorry, can we get to know each other?" Nope. Why? She says, "I'm not a minor," a lie, but he says, "I'm not interested, I'm sorry." AJ even acknowledges that Inquisitor had minor DNI, which means do not inbox, in his bio, and she chose to still lie. This is her messaging Keegan, talking about how they need to get more evidence. So at the behest of these two adults, Tito and Keegan's Mask, AJ then offers to start doing some editing work for Inquisitor 3, which he accepts, believing she is an adult. Once AJ started doing edits for Inquisitor 3, she, Tito, and Keegan's Mask began saving any and every message that read as even remotely flirty between the two of them in their campaign against him. But Inquisitor caught on to this and even started to call her out. He said, "I'm not a fan of the way you acted." Huh? If you could please stop texting me, you'd be very kind. Damn, what did I do? I just want you to see this. You know me, you know who I am. I never exposed you. I just want to talk with you again. As he becomes more and more wise to the accusations they're starting to make about him, she starts to act even more stupid. He provides screenshots, however, of her saying, "You do know he's a, right? I got a lot of proof." He says, "So who's this?" That's when she starts to say, "I didn't do that. Oh, no way. My friend Diana's on my account." He says, "Bro, get a life." And in early October, after
I've been through 7 years of
decided to
this.
finally stop talking to AJ,
He didn't even last
after
a
hearing
month.
she was trouble, Keegan's Mask led the charge and they launched their attack against him. It wasn't much, but Keegan's Mask began sharing these messages out of context in a desperate attempt to paint Inquisitor as a predator. The thing she left out, however, is that these were just enthusiastic responses to him finding that she had created so many edits for him in such a brief amount of time. And also fully believing she's an adult, but because she's a pretty popular girl, Keegan's Mask's accusations spread like wildfire.
By the way, Natalie
And
Bollinger
after
was an
multiple
adult.
days of
She
online
was
and
an adult.
offline attacks, having the worst
Who should have
and
been
heaviest
held responsible
accusations
for her
launched against
actions.
him, and believing that,
And so should her friends.
Inquisitor
They're all
3
still alive
left us.
today.
Keegan and Tito have both issued statements, not apologies or condolences, mind you, but excuses that all they did was share their concerns. But as the rest of us remain devastated and broken, and
she's not devastated. She didn't fucking know him.
We do have a lot of.
She pretends to give a shit. Pretends to give a shit. Did she know this man or give a shit before he killed himself?